But the criticisms haven't stopped there. Last night, I saw a little piece from friend of the show, Master Shake. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Master Shake went on the Sean Hannity program last night. And what's really interesting about it is that Sean Hannity, once again, talks about me every night now. It's kind of unbelievable. Refuses to have me on the stream. Refuses to have me on the fucking show. But will talk about me every goddamn night. This time, Sean brought friend of the show, Mark Levin. And Mark Levin was fucking crying, dude.
Spiritual leader of the Democratic Party, far-left extremist Hasan Piker is now touting an anti-Israel litmus test for any Democrat with 2028 presidential aspirations. Take a look at these.
Dude, it's awesome. You call me the spiritual leader of the Democratic Party?
Really repulsive and disgusting remarks.
Will you endorse the 2028 candidate if they are pro-Israel in a way that you don't like? If you ultimately are about defeating fascism in this country as you describe it, surely shouldn't you get on board with whoever the main candidate is?
Luckily, I don't think I'm going to have to make that calculation at all, because there is 0% chance that whoever the elected Democrat is that wins the primary will be pro-Israel in any way, shape, or form. You'll see.
Disgusting. That is disgusting. Dude, I love this. This is so good. This is far better promo than the Democratic Party deserves. Okay? I'm telling you right now, the Democrats do not deserve this much praise. They do not deserve this association. They haven't done enough to deserve this kind of fucking promotional material. Like, this is the equivalent. This is the equivalence of like Fox News being like, the next Democratic candidate that runs for president is going to be America first. The next Democratic candidate will be truly America first. Or this is Fox News basically cutting promo for the Democratic Party by saying, by putting a clip of me saying the next Democratic candidate will be unconditionally pro working class, unconditionally pro Medicare for all. Okay? Like, this is an incredible promo, a promotional tool that the Democrats don't really deserve, if I'm honest. They haven't shown that they deserve this kind of promo yet, but fuck it. Why not? Fuck it. We ball.
Here with reaction, the host of Life, Liberty, and Levin, and of course his own nationally syndicated radio host. Of course, he's here on the Fox News channel. I call him the Great One, Mark Levin. Mark, this is a guy that blamed America for 9/11/01. There is 0% chance any 2028
9/11/01? What the fuck? I've never heard someone refer to 9/11 as 9/11/01. Has there been a 9/11/2? What does Sean Hannity know? Is there gonna be a 9/11/2? Has there been a 9/11/2? Why is he specifying which 9/11 it is? I guess maybe he means he's actually a Noam Chomsky head, Sean Hannity. He's like, yeah, the real 9/11 was actually the one that took place in Chile. Okay? The Allende coup. That was the real 9/11. This is the second 9/11, so he had to specify. He's like, 9/11/01.
A Democratic nominee will be pro-Israel. Now, if that's not anti-Semitic bigotry institutionalized in a party.
Dude, it's so awesome. They have to be woke. They have to be so woke in a way that is repulsive for the average Fox News watcher, okay? This idea that you ran on America first and anti-DEI, and now you have to flip the script and be like, no, Israel first, and also we're anti-DEI except for Israel, is hilarious. He is so fucking woke. They're so woke, dude. Oh, it's awesome. It's hilarious. They flipped the script. They took some of the worst instincts of the Democratic Party that they had successfully opposed, won an election on opposing, and are now flipping it. Not realizing how this looks to the average person, even in their own base. It is fucking awesome. I need to see what the comments look like. Usually these are botted into oblivion. Why you give him so much priority if he's so low? Hasan is 2 weeks away from developing nuclear weapon. So good I had to watch it twice. Shocking. You know you're doing something right when both parties hate you. These folks are trying to bring war to our shores. Division is real. Vote them out of government. They're stirring strife. Democrats are made up of America haters, nothing more. Stop giving the lowlife airtime. Didn't Hannity agree to have Hasan on a show and then back out? I believe Mar Levin. They are scared. Calling Piker a lowlife is insult to real lowlifes. Piker is lower than that. It's just pure evil. I will be the first person to vote for Hasan if he runs. I need you guys to understand something, okay? Like, even this comment in and of itself, like, what a lowlife he is. How disgusting. I can't believe he said the Democratic frontrunner that makes it out of the primaries will be anti-Israel or won't be pro-Israel, okay? Substitute Israel for any other country. The Democratic Party frontrunner that wins the primaries will not be pro-Estonia in any way, shape, or form. Motherfuckers will be like, okay, I don't care. Literally, take Israel out and put any other country, pro-Canada, pro-Mexico. Would anybody turn around and go, wow, this is the worst thing I've ever heard? I did. I checked the comments. They're mostly supportive. It doesn't make any sense. This is a principled America First message from the news network that propagandized an America First message.
I don't know what is. Your thoughts?
You know, this guy is, well, we're on cable TV. I got to watch it. He's a real low
Bro, he is crying. He cried.
life.
He crowed.
You know, it's a funny thing, this guy Puker. He doesn't condemn communist China. In fact, he says Mao was the greatest man to ever walk the planet. Right now, communist China has about 2 million Uyghurs, Muslims, in internment camps where they're being raped, tortured, enslaved, and murdered.
Not. I just, like, I find it very funny to hear Mark Levin, pro-Israel Mark Levin, pro-genocide Mark Levin, turning around and acting like he gives a single solitary shred of a fuck about not only Muslims, but this time Muslims in China. Okay? This motherfucker is not concerned about Chinese people and their welfare, and he's certainly not concerned about the Muslim welfare anywhere around the world. So for what's the expectation? You don't like Muslims, you don't like the Chinese, but now I'm supposed to assume you care about Chinese Muslims? How'd this happen?
He says nothing. In Yemen, which is 99% Muslim, 150,000 Muslims have been starved to death and murdered.
Wait. Yeah, Saudi Arabia did that, bro. What the hell? The Saudi UAE coalition forces did that. Plus, you've called out China on the repression of Uyghurs. What the fuck? Yeah, but none of these guys care, obviously. None of these guys care about any of that shit, including bringing up Yemen. These are all things that I've covered. These are all things that I've obviously, been very critical about. These are things that I've offered critical coverage to. So it's really funny that these guys only deploy these talking points when it doesn't even make sense when you're deploying them against me. But they only bring this stuff up to be like, oh, this, I bet you love not talking about the 100,000 Yemeni that starved to death. Who did that?
In the Syrian civil war, 580,000 Muslims were killed.
Again,
in this low
classic. Again, offered critical coverage on that as well.
life says nothing about any of it. He is obsessed with Jews.
Like, I've written about it. It's on Huffington Post. You can still find my old articles from back in the day talking about the Syrian civil war, talking about Yemen, talking about our involvement in both of these issues, in both of these crises.
In Israel, he's obsessed with America. And by obsessed, I mean he hates us. He hates this.
What do you mean, us? Bitch, I'm American. I'm American. What are you talking about? Of course I'm obsessed with America. I'm an American citizen. I'm an American taxpayer. I'm an American citizen. I'm an American taxpayer. Of course I care about where that taxpayer goes, where those tax dollars go.
Country. He hates the citizens of this country. He hates the Israelis. He hates Jews. You know, he was raised in Turkey. You know, Turkey, the country that's run by our dear friend Erdogan, who's a...
And then he just gets like weirdly racial with it. He's like, he's fucking Turkish. Of course he hates Jews. He's Turkish. Like, I don't. Okay, that's also ridiculous.
Another Jew hater, an Israel hater, and so forth and so on. And he ought to go back to Turkey. I'm really troubled by the fact that we have people coming into this country, or coming back to this country, that hate it so much and spew their poison left and right. I don't know how this guy gets a platform. I don't know how anybody pays to give him a platform. He's not intelligent. He's just...
It is kind of crazy that like so much commentary in the American news sphere, in the American media, is just made up. And it's not even just like on Fox News. Obviously, if you've been in here long enough, if you're like even somewhat familiar with my commentary, you know immediately that they're lying, right? But it is wild. Like there are no editorial standards that remain. I don't think this is a good thing, man. I feel like we gotta have a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not doing like civility politics, but like I wish that we had maybe a little bit of investment in truth and a little bit of investment in accuracy in our coverage. That would be nice. It's not lost upon me that those who are primarily invested in defending Israel will oftentimes say Israel's the only country that's not doing genocide, and it's all of these other countries that are. And even if that was the case, that still wouldn't, be an effective defense against Israel nonetheless. But I find it rather strange. Every other country is doing this except for Israel is, kind of silly.
Just a thug. He's just another Jew hater. And you can find them anywhere. You can find them on the street. You can find them anywhere. So this guy gets paid a fortune because he's a Jew hater. Now, as far as the Democrat Party goes, I hate to say this, he's not that far off the mark.
Democrats will hear Mark Levin do this commentary and be like, beast mode, I totally agree with you. Let's get this Hasan guy out of here, Mark. Not the biggest fan of Mark Levin, but I'm really beginning to like what he has to say. Of course, the average Democratic voter hears this shit and goes, okay, I like this Hasan guy now. If he's making this fucking dickhead, who I despise, this bald fascist piece of shit, cry real tears, then guess what? Maybe this Hasan guy ain't that bad. Democratic Party consultants, on the other hand, will hear this and go, wow, this Mark Levin guy is growing on me.
Democrat Party.
Yet another point of divergence where the base is totally living in a different reality, our shared consensus reality, whereas the DC elites, the consultants, the right-wing Democrats, the right-wing flank, The establishment Democrats are living in a totally alternative reality.
Is led by individuals
I say,
who are Israel haters.
keep leaning
by
into
Israel
this.
haters, you have to be a Jew hater. It's the only Jewish state that
Nope.
exists. Now, they like to say, well, we don't hate Jews, it's just Israel. Well, that's like saying we don't hate Catholics, we just hate the Vatican. That doesn't make any sense, does it? No, it doesn't. So that some of them try and camouflage their Jew hatred. This guy's out of the closet in many ways. He is what he is. But you have the guys like Van Hollen. You've got guys like Bernie Sanders. You've got people like that in the House. You've got a whole phalanx of Jew haters and American haters. Every single one of the Jew haters, every single one of the Israel haters hate America. Have you noticed that? And they trash our country as much as they trash Israel. Because Israel and America have things in common. A democracy, representative government, consent of the people. What else do we have? The belief in the Judeo-Christian value system and belief system.
Yeah.
We embrace the Enlightenment.
And the beauty is, of course, all of the American tax dollars, a good chunk of the American tax dollars are now being deployed in the direction of Israel's foreign policy. You know, we have a lot of things in common. Get back to work, Americans, so you can pay your taxes, so we can fund our military, so that Israel can use it like a mercenary force against whichever fucking enemy they have. Great stuff, man. Rewind, he called you gay? Yeah, who cares? Whatever.
Israel embraces the Enlightenment. We do not embrace the ideology of jihadi Islamists. We do not embrace the ideology of Marxists. And that is the modern-day Democrat Party, Marxist Islamists. And that is the modern-day ideology of the Democrat Party. So,
yeah, we're doing Marxist Islamism in America. That's, you know, Medicare for all, no more wars, spend America first, peace ticket, rebuild the American industrial base. These are all, you know, Islamo-communist takes. Yeah, I don't think this shit's going to work, especially considering that there aren't that many Muslims, man. That's it. That's a big part of the fucking problem for these guys. It's not like there's a significant amount of like Muslim migration into the country. There are certain areas like Dearborn, maybe Hamtramck, you know, there are diverse neighborhoods where Muslims exist, but the average American is not like encountering a Muslim person all the time. There's not enough, like there's a lot of resentment due to the war on terror, a lot of built resentment against Islam, against Muslims in general, Islamic terrorism and stuff like that. But you can't really pull the European style Islamophobia here to the same degree. European style of Islamophobia works because there's, you know, far more percentage-wise, there's a larger percentage of Muslim migrants that live in European countries where this kind of Islamo-communism, Islamo-Gauchism is deployed as a mechanism to win elections.
Expect this from Puker. He is a lowlife. That's exactly what he is. And by the way, there are many like him. Many like him. He's not talented. He's just a vile, poisonous human being. Well, he's a vile, poisonous person anyway. Yeah.
Well, what about the deafening silence of the rest of the party? I mean, they take Mamdani's wife. They won't say a word. The AOC, the squad. There is among many virulent anti-Semitism. They don't hide it. You know, basically, they have now what he's stating on their behalf is he will institutionalize a litmus test against Jewish people. You know, does that mean Josh Shapiro can never be their nominee? Does that mean he has no shot because he's Jewish and I would assume supports Israel? John Fetterman?
Well, you know, Josh Shapiro has his own problems as far as I'm concerned. He's not as moderate as he pretends to be. But you're right, he's off the list. He's Jewish. But it's not just Jewish. It's also going to be evangelical Christians. It's going to be people of faith, a faith that is based in our founding in this country.
Yeah. Yeah. John Fetterman. who is Jewish. Jewish John Fetterman. This is why he won't have you on his show. He's just worried. Yeah, you supported Bernie. I know. He backed out of calling you a human being. Okay, I got to run it back.
Ever be
Hold
their
on.
nominee? Does that mean he has no shot because he's Jewish? And what he's stating on their behalf is he will institutionalize a litmus test against Jewish people. You know, does that mean Josh Shapiro could never be their nominee? Does that mean?
I mean, here's the thing. Someone being Jewish, at least by my estimation, I know these guys are going to not believe me, and it's unforeseeable, even though it is very foreseeable, considering Mark Levin brought up Bernie Sanders as a prime anti-Semite. He literally said Bernie Sanders is a Jew hater. Now they're fucking saying, oh, if someone's Jewish and they're running for president, they're of course going to be pro-Israel. So which is it? Because it seems like you understand when someone is Jewish, but is very critical of the relationship that America has with Israel. You know? Bernie Sanders is a Jew hater. He doesn't want any Jews to run for office. He's like, the one fucking candidate that I backed over and over again happens to be Jewish. Bernie Sanders.
He has no shot because he's Jewish and I would assume supports Israel? John Fetterman?
I love this world, man. I love the universe that we exist in, where your Judaism is no longer matrilineal. Okay? It's not, being Jewish is no longer cultural. It's no longer a matrilineal heritage thing. It's no longer an ethnicity. It's no longer even a religion. It's just, how much do you support Israel? The more you support Israel, the more Jewish you are. Okay? And John Fetterman, basically Orthodox. Okay? And ironically enough, the ultra-Orthodox Neturei Karta, not Jewish. Bernie Sanders, no longer Jewish. Brad Lander, not Jewish. John Fetterman, very Jewish. Okay? The most Jewish. Haley Stevens, Israel comes to me in my dreams. The most Jewish you can be. Yeah. Satmar, not Jewish. Neturei Karta, not Jewish. Bernie Sanders, not Jewish. Brad Lander, no longer Jewish. On the other hand, the entire evangelical right movement, the entire Christian evangelical movement, they're all Jewish now. And it's not even that strange. Like, I mean, Mark Levin has literally called Donald Trump the first Jewish president. He did that. He sincerely believes it. It is wild. This is the same party that, in my opinion, correctly made fun of Joe Biden for saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. They were on the money. They were correct in their jokes at the time.
Well, you know, Josh Shapiro has his own problems as far as I'm concerned. He's not as moderate as he pretends to be. But you're right, he's off the list. He's Jewish. But it's not just Jewish. It's also going to be evangelical Christians. It's going to be people of faith, a faith that is based in our founding in this country, that serves as the underpinning of our institutions. Remember, these same people, many of them, the Democrats, just like the Democratic Socialists of America, the Marxists, they oppose the Supreme Court. They trash the presidency. They attack the Electoral College. They attack the Senate. The Democrats want 4 more Democrats. The Marxists want to get rid of the Senate altogether. They want to rejigger this.
Is Mark Is Mark Levin Jewish? Yeah. I mean, look at how pro-Israel he is, right? By his own estimation. Sean Hannity and Mark Levin are both Jewish now. But Mark Levin actually is Jewish. If the only standard is the more pro-Israel you are, the more Jewish you are, then yes, Sean Hannity and Mark Levin, both Jewish. Bernard Sanders, no longer Jewish. But yes, Mark Levin actually is Jewish, not just by his own metrics.
Society, they want to rejigger human beings because that's what Islamists and that's what Marxists want to do. So they have a lot in common. Now, who stands up to this? What is the oldest religion, Abrahamic religion that exists? Judaism. What's the second one? Christianity. So Judaism and Christianity.
What's the third one? We don't need to talk about it.
Christianity come under attack. Why? Because they are the bulwark against these ideologies. Marxism believes in no faith, no God. He said it was mysticism. Islamism insists that you either are a true believer to their faith, the radical Islamists, or they'll kill you. And so who stands up to this? Jews, Christians, Israel, the United States. And we are thriving, free, happy societies. And the people who speak like this guy Puker, they're angry, they are evil, and they are diabolical. And the Democrat Party buys into it the way it bought into slavery, the way it bought into segregation, the way it bought into Jim Crow.
The Democrat Party, the current party that is pro-slavery and pro-Confederacy. You know, that's how it is. Bro, it's so awesome. It's so awesome. The Democrat Party that currently defends Jim Crow, and not our party that's trying to bring it back, and not me that's currently defending Jim Crow apartheid in Israel.
Is a un-American party, and it's always been an un-American party.
All right, the great one, Mark Levin, will be watching Life, Liberty, Levin this weekend. Mark, as always, thank you. All right, thanks.
This commentary was awesome. He went beast mode.
We begin with this morning's top story.
Anyway, before we get to U.S. and Israel, it doesn't end there, folks. There is another guy out there who's also very mad. As a firm and committed member of DSA Right, Bill Maher is doing factional infighting, sectarian infighting, and he's throwing his hat in the ring. That's right. For those of you who didn't know, Bill Maher is DSA Right. Okay? And he hates Mug. He hates the Marxist Unity Group. Bill Maher opposes the Marxist Unity Group, folks. Buttfeld had a clip about me too. I know. All right, we'll get to Bill Maher in a second, but before I do that, yeah, there's another angry Fox News rant. This time from another armchair consultant for the DNC that happens to be on Fox News, Greg Buttfeld.
Pussy about it. You tell them, you're an idiot, get out. Stand up for kids. Like, what about the children? You let them go. Stand up for families, actual families, not, interesting families. Citizens, not criminals and perverts. You need, as a party, to shift emphasis away from the lawless to the law-abiding. Stop offering validation to people like Hasan Piker. You need to stigmatize Hasan Piker. You do not elevate their insane expression. Isn't this interesting? What the Democrat Party lacked was high-profile criticism. And what that did was it reinforced this foothold of radicals once they got to the attention they wanted. And that is the big tent lie. You lowered the barrier to entry without creating any obstacles, and now you're screwed.
saying criminals and perverts. Democrats need to oppose criminals and perverts. Yeah, we are. Okay. And not just the Democrats, but pretty much everyone that's not a Republican is directly in opposition to criminal perverts, like the fucking president. Okay? Like the goddamn president, motherfucker. What do you mean, criminals and perverts? You love criminal pervertry is the name of the game for the Republican Party. Grand old pedophiles, grand old perverts party. They know this gets you juiced up. Yeah, this does get me juiced up. All right. Yeah. Hey guys, just some reasonable critique here from Greg Buttfeld, who literally said we need to reclaim the term Nazis for ourselves. Okay? That's the guy. That's the guy who's giving advice to the Democratic Party. Yeah, we should really listen to this guy. Anyway,